Well, hello and welcome to the Labor Day edition of 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10. Thank you for joining us on this holiday. If that is when you are consuming this episode, we do appreciate it. And either way, we appreciate you consuming the episode, whether it's on the day it happened or days later. So look, I wanted to talk today with you about the discussion of consultants. Anyone who consults with a business, specifically automotive, and to take it a step further, they can work for the OEM, they can work for themselves, they can work for another company. Anyone who uses or has the word consultant in their title, this one goes out to you because I've done that job. And I did that job really, really successfully for not a long time, only about 24 months before it didn't work out for me because it was in a corporate environment. Anyone who's listened to this show or knows anything about me knows I just don't have that corporate side of me. It's just not a thing of mine. So the job itself, right? So recently a couple of examples have come up where because of my position in the industry, I get to hear just all kinds of crazy discussions. So having a discussion with a buddy of mine who founded a marketing company, and he's on the phone with a OEM rep and the digital consultant for the OEM and a dealer. And the conversation was around conversion, right? Mobile click-to-calls conversions. The marketing company had noticed a huge drop-off. Astronomical drop-off in the numbers. So they went to the website and they noticed that the click-to-call button had been removed and the price had been changed to call for price. Okay, which if you think about that, right? You think about how hilarious that is, that you'd have a call for price button and have removed a click-to-call button, right? It scares me to think what would happen if you actually clicked on the call or click for price, call for price type deal. So remove price from the website, remove the opportunity of calling people. And the idea was in an effort to increase time on site or stickiness, which that's dumb because at the end of the day, you want to get phone calls and lead submissions. And in today's world, with transparency being what it is, people aren't necessarily going to call for price or click for price. Unless you have the car, the one they want, and that's typically used. But if it's new and you're not putting prices on your cars, you might as well sell your franchise because that just makes no sense. And I'm not asking you to drop all the way down to your lowest level, whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying be competitive, understand your market, and price effectively because people are shopping that way. But more importantly, why would this consultant recommend that to an OEM rep, which, let's be fair, most of those reps aren't well versed in the digital aspect. That's why the digital consultant role was designed by OEMs, whether they do it themselves or they bring in a third party like I worked for. It doesn't really matter. Those are how things go, right? So in my world, I sit there and I say to myself, well, all right, cool, man. What was the outcome of that call? And he's like, well, the dealer agreed. And I thought to myself, no way. There's no way that they were all able to convince the dealer with you either in the background or on the phone going, this is terrible. And the dealer goes, yeah, but they made a good point about time on site, right? So that's lesson number one. Make sure, I don't care who you work for, make sure that you understand what it is that you're A, impacting, and B, recommending. Because if you think it's just, well, let's try it, something like that is catastrophic. And whether it's only for 2 weeks, 3 days, 15 days, 30 days, it's catastrophic. You should never be in a position to have to convince a dealer to make a massive wholesale change to their website as of today, unless it's a website change to a vendor, right? That's how I feel. That's a really big thing. So you need to be careful with how you approach wholesale changes. That's what I want to say there, okay? I was myself recently on a call with an OEM, my dealer, the OEM digital rep, my dealer and myself, and we were discussing the website. And it was all about, well, you don't have a lot of the OEM branding, a lot of the OEM branding. And so the dealer was like, yeah, well, kind of brand ourselves, kind of like what we do. And it was more about, well, get the branding. And it was poking holes in things. And it was asking questions that, for the most part, I don't really take issue with. But when you start sort of like telling the dealer, like, well, they cut their paid search, and you say, well, that's a red flag because now you have 1,000 less users, but you don't know anything about the conversion data of the website, right? This website is up hundreds of percent in phone calls, hundreds of percent in website leads since switching its website provider. And here people go saying, well, it's not what we see, that's not what we think. Well, I don't really necessarily care what you think or what you think you know. Make sure that you know it. Oh, there's the star. He loves jumping up here during these. He can feel when things get, a little wild. So here's the thing. When you come into this consulting role, I want you to be very careful of how you approach it. You are better off making small recommendations, and it doesn't always have to be a change or every month when you visit or call or whatever it is. You don't always have to do something. Things can roll consistently and be okay. It's about constant inspection of data and metrics. If you see a down metric, figure out why it's down, improve that metric. You don't have to get into it every single time and just, well, let's change it, let's blow it up, let's do this, right? So consultants, please, do me a favor. Ask 3 or 4 people before you go making huge recommendations to dealer, and make sure if you're new to the role that you're not just trying to do it, okay? Thank you for joining me on this Labor Day. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope you join me and probably my kitty for next week's episode, where we are going to be talking about more OEM stuff and their co-op programs. As always, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you will find us 262-278-0157. Thank you again for joining us.